baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause
Black versus the Board of Education.
we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know that we won't ever go for you, because we been here.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
Oh, Snapsy Tevin got it right on a Monday, right here on Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen, and I, of course, am your hostess with the mostest, and we welcome you into this place. But before we get started, you know how we like to do. We like to actually introduce ourselves so that you know who's in the building. So I am going to start with Miss Anaya because she's back. Hey, Anaya.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Hey everyone, my name is Anaya. I'm currently a senior in high school and I'm excited to be back.
Oh my gosh. You see, she was off and can't even figure out what she was doing when she was off. Lord have mercy. Jalen, hey.
Hello, my name is Jalen. I'm a college student and it's another Monday.
It is another Monday. Come on, Jada.
Hey y'all, my name is Jada. I am a homeschooled senior in the Sacramento area and it's glad to be back. I'm glad to be back.
We glad to have you. Come on, where's Sam and Melissa? Come on, get them both up there. We're going to start with Melissa. Come on, Melissa, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa. I am located in Southern California, and I'm super excited for today's episode.
Let's go. Come on, Sam.
Hello, my name is Samuel. I'm 12 years old. I'm in 6th grade. I'm in Georgia. Let's go!
Wow. Okay. So as you can see, Sam is a whole character, and we again welcome you into this place. Today we are talking about get uncomfortable. It's something that seems to happen every Black History Month where people just lose their ever-loving minds. You got people trying to just gloss over history. They don't want to talk about anything but slavery and Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, and everybody wants to sing, lift every voice and sing, and everybody can't sing. I'm gonna just put that out there. And then they turn around and we get incident after incident coming through, trying to figure out what is wrong with everybody. So today we're going to talk about, like I said, get uncomfortable, and that is coming from a story out of Tuscaloosa. Or is that what it's right? Tuscaloosa? Is that how you say that?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Where apparently the 200 students walked out of school in protest because their administrators told them that they could not do anything could not include any incidents prior to 1970 in their Black History program. I have a whole lot to say about that, but I'm gonna push it to Melissa. Walk out because you can't do 1970. What's up?
I mean, we existed prior to 1970, so why can't we talk about it? Like, that's my thing. What is the problem? What happened before 1970 that makes you uncomfortable? What is it about 1970 specifically? Because stuff happened after 1970, stuff also happened prior to 1970. So I support the walkout because what are y'all talking about?
They don't know what they're talking about.
I don't understand.
Jada.
I support the walkout simply because I know exactly what it's for. They want to hide our history. That's what they want to do because they want to hide the roles that they played in our history. Because they can worship George Washington and Abe Lincoln and Ben Franklin and all these amazing presidents that we have to learn about through history over.
Alleged, amazing,
alleged, over and over and over again. But the minute it comes to our month, when we want to talk about our history, when we get the chance to actually talk about our history, it's like, oh, you could talk about it, just not that. Yeah, not that. It'll make people uncomfortable.
Samuel.
Yo, what are we talking about? Like, what are we doing? Of course, I support this walkout, but you like.
What? You okay? What happened?
What?
Uh-oh. His audio is going in and out.
Okay.
Let's try it again. You good?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Come on back, Sam. What was you saying? Come on, let me.
Of course, I support this walkout, and I see how schools do this, how states do this. It's blanketed as CRT and political instead of history. You know what it is. You see it. It's always seen as political. Just because it's history, it's political.
Yeah.
How is it political? Please tell me.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Anaya, you support them or no?
Of course.
Why? Oh,
Why would
Lord.
I not? I like there's no good reason to not support history being taught.
You're
And the
right.
thing, you're gonna laugh. In my African American Studies class, it's being taught by a white teacher, and she was talking about critical race theory, and she's like, "Yeah, she's all for it."
Okay.
But-
Why?
But
Let me put a timeout on that.
Okay.
Because this is the thing. Critical race theory is not even a theory that they teach at the high school level. It's taught at the college level. So I'm not even sure why that was a conversation in your history, your African American studies course at a high school level. I'd be interested to know why she brought it up in the first place.
because she took requests on what students want to teach. It's a whole, or what we want to learn about. It's a whole thing. But I was trying to get into how she was basically saying that the only reason Black history is not being taught, or like it's watered down, is only because white people are like, what's the word? Guilty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you not be like? I know you didn't do the act, but
Right.
feel some type of way.
Yeah. Jalen?
I support it. I just think it's kind of weird because there's people probably at that school that were born prior to 1970. So
Okay, yeah. Some of
like,
the adults.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
not the kids.
why? No, yeah, no.
I was like,
no.
no.
I would
I'm like,
hope-
wait, what are we
I
talking
would
about?
hope not the kids. But I'm
Right.
talking about like the adults. Like,
Yeah.
so you're gonna cut off part of even like your
Right.
upbringing too. Like, you can't even like. It's kind of weird.
Like these went
Well,
on in your time. So you don't
Yeah.
want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Well, this
That's
is
my
the
thing.
thing. This is the thing. When they say prior to 1970, I want to know what they think happened after 1970 that was acceptable. Because
Right.
none of it's been
Right.
acceptable.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this is the I think that it's great that students use their voice and they hold these protests or they hold these walkouts, but these are approved activities on your campuses. And when I say approved activities, like they're like, okay, the kids are mad. Let's give them 45 minutes to an hour to express themselves, and then everybody goes back to class. My opinion is if you really wanted to affect something, you would protest them. You wouldn't sign into your class because that would affect their ADA money, but nobody wants to talk about that.
I have
Yeah.
a question.
Yes.
What is ADA money?
Average daily attendance. Every time you show up and you go to those classes, they get some money for you. So if you really wanted to protest, you wouldn't wait for them to give you permission. You would protest because that's what you feel, right? And then I would love to see the community stand behind the kids when that happens. Like I remember at Sac High, they had this whole protest and they locked them out. They wouldn't allow them to go to the bathroom. They wouldn't allow them to come in and get their lunch because they weren't going to class. So what did we do as the adults? We showed up. We got donations from the community. We fed them during lunchtime, and we stayed there with them to make sure that if anything was going to go down, the adults would be the front line, and those hits would come towards us instead of the children. That's what I want to see. Instead of, oh, well, yeah, they protested for, I think they said the protest ended 40 minutes later. And there's plans of another protest soon. And I think that's very nice. But again, I'm not waiting for permission when people are denying me the right to exist and be who I
Right.
am.
So it's not
Right.
the.
Speak on it.
So in your opinion, it's not the act of the protest. It's just how they went about it.
I think that the kids did what the kids do, right? That's what kids do.
That's what they can
But
do.
they contacted the adults over at the NAACP who did show up to their protest saying that the students were going to lead it. But at the same time, none of the adults were out front taking the hits. Like we have to do a better job of protecting you and ensuring that your voice is heard and valued. Right. And we can't do that when we're waiting for them to give us permission on when we can assemble. Like that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So this happened at Hillcrest High School in Tuscaloosa or Tugaloosa. What the heck is this? Hold on. Let me find the right word. Somebody got it. Tuscaloosa County Schools during their Black History Month. So their program is actually scheduled for February 22nd. So this was in protest to what they were told by one of the administrators who said they didn't want them didn't want them to do anything after or before 1970 because one of the administrators were uncomfortable. Your comfort is not my responsibility.
Right.
Right. And so these are the accusations that one of the students detailed when she was talking to the news. She said they couldn't use civil rights as part of their program. They were denied the use of the bathroom during menstrual cycle. And I'm like, is this just a culmination of things that are happening? And then somebody told the students that they look like hookers on a Saturday night.
What?
And so I'm just like, Sam, talk to me, Sam. Like, what's happening? What's going on?
First off, I want to talk about this policy. You can't start teaching Black history until February 22nd, 6 days before Black History Month is over. That's ridiculous. Why is it called Black History Month if it's basically less than a week? It should be called Black History Week if you're going to teach it for a week.
Well, it started off as Negro History Week, and it was made a month by, I want to say, Abraham Lincoln in observation of
his birthday and
it's one other thing.
Someone
Frederick Douglass. Him
Yes.
and Frederick Douglass's birthday.
Yeah.
So talk to us, Melissa. I mean,
I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. Like Sam said, why are we reverting back to celebrating Negro History Week? Like, what's going on? They don't want to talk about prior to 1970 because they don't want to talk about slavery. They don't want to talk about segregation when both of those things are technically currently still happening if we want to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
One admin is uncomfortable. One administrator is uncomfortable. What about the 200 uncomfortable students that walked out on that day?
Talk about it.
Like, I don't understand. I think they should be uncomfortable. That person needs to be uncomfortable. Sit with your uncomfort and quit and leave. Or just sit with it. Like, I don't understand. It makes no sense whatsoever.
and 55% of that student body are Black students. 55%.
So more than half.
More than half
Okay.
of the student body. And I can't talk about my history because one administrator is uncomfortable. He would just have to be damn uncomfortable because
Honestly.
ain't
And those
nothing I could do.
Those little consequences for their actions, talking about locking them out the bathrooms and making comments about how they look on a Saturday night. It's
I want
immaturity.
to know who said it.
Me too, because it's
Yeah.
immaturity. You're taking shots at kids
That's
because you're mad.
inappropriate.
You're mad because you made them
And I don't
mad.
even know if it's because of this particular program. I'm just thinking they have been keeping a record of what people have been doing to them, and it's just all coming out now. That's what I'm thinking is happening because it doesn't mesh with what's currently happening in terms of protesting the Black History Month program. But what it does do is because they're airing their grievances, maybe they're just like, let's put them all out there so we can talk about them all.
Yeah.
And this is the thing too. So they don't want you to talk about the civil rights movement, right? The civil rights movement was the catalyst for the Immigration Act of 1965, if I believe that's correct. So without the civil rights movement, there would not have been an Immigration Act, which means a lot of people who benefited from the civil rights movement who don't look like us would probably not be here. And so we have to tell the real story of how things came to be in order for us to move forward with some understanding of where we're at right now.
Right.
And unfortunately, the powers that be or whoever it is out here in makeup land, you know what I mean? They want to only focus on the good things. But for our community, a lot of bad things happen. And we're going to talk about some of them today because we would be remiss if we didn't on Black versus the Board of Education educate you.
Yep.
So, Jalen, what you got for me? What happened before 1970? Give me one.
So I got the Little Rock Nine, which happened in 1957.
Tell me about it.
So it was 1954 was when the board, the Brown v. Board of Education,
Where we took our name, Black versus the Board of Education. Go ahead, though.
Yep, and then the Little Rock Nine were the 9 teens that became the first African American students to enter the Little Rock Central High School. They were September 2nd. The Arkansas's governor ordered the National Guard to block their entrance. And then he framed it and said it was for the safety of those 9 students. Then on September 4th, 24 hours after federal judge ordered the students to begin attending, they were mobbed by kids and the National Guard, preventing the teens from entering the school. 16 days later, a federal judge ordered the National Guard to be removed. On September 23rd, The 9 tried to enter the school through the side door with police escort, where they were met by another mob.
Happy Black History Month. All right, Melissa, what you got for me?
The Woolsworth lunch counter sit-in. This is kind of similar to what we're talking about, a walkout. This was a sit-in of students from a school in North Carolina State just sit in at a segregated lunch counter after they were denied service. And this act sparked similar movements through lots of colleges and schools in the South. And I think it's really interesting because they purposefully went into spaces that were created for white people and that purposefully excluded them. They went in those spaces and made them uncomfortable on purpose. And I think that's really interesting because it's kind of similar to what we're seeing. Like, this is a walk out. This was a sit in trying to make people in charge who are purposefully not including them in things that are happening, trying to make them uncomfortable and prove that they are human. That's literally what we're doing, trying to prove that we are human and we are as equal to you as we should be.
Jada, what you got?
Something that I was actually recently, but kind of not recently, educated on was how Black communities and Black towns and cities were actually flooded over and then they were built on top of. And I didn't know that. Two that are actually brought to my attention was Central Park in New York. I didn't know it was a town and was flooded over.
Seneca
and
Village.
This big, like, I would have never known that. And then another one that my granny had brought to my attention was Lake Lanier in Georgia. And apparently that was like the worst one. And there's like these conspiracies about it still being haunted and people going there would, kind of never make it back kind of situation. So because the ancestors are mad about what happened.
Oh, okay. Anaya brought us a whole list. Anaya just wrote down a whole list. So go ahead and give us some. What you got?
Well, I'll just focus on the Black Panther Party. I've been really interested in the party for a few years now. And it was really interesting to me because they were deemed out to be such bad people carrying around guns who were so against police. But really, the party was started to protect Black neighborhoods from police brutality. They had like free breakfast program to help children. So they were just really there. The party was just really there just to help their own community.
And I think what they don't tell you is it was a party actually founded on nonviolence. Like they didn't just go out and just, trample over people. They stood their ground and they wanted to protect and police their own neighborhoods. They wanted to, like, the free lunch program or started as the Black Panthers free breakfast program, right? And so all of these things were looked at and kind of duplicated in different forms, but they don't give credit where credit is due, right? Sam, what you got?
Okay, so I don't know the exact year. I know it was before 1970.
Okay.
I think a college student did a sit-in at a segregated bar, just waiting for service as a protest against segregation at a white-only bar.
Yeah, that happened a lot. Or when what was her name? One of those actresses, was it? I want to say maybe it was Dorothy Dandridge. Anyway, somebody put their toe in a pool and they drained the whole pool because they didn't want to swim with Black people.
That's crazy.
Wow. What in the world?
Oh yeah, and this happened to other. There's another story where they poured acid into the pool.
I seen that picture
to get the Black kids out of it who wanted to go swimming.
I seen that picture. That resurfaced like a couple months ago.
Yeah,
crazy.
And so over and over again, we're seeing this constant kind of, you don't belong here. We don't want you here. They always say go back to Africa, but I ain't never got nobody to get me a ticket.
Let's talk about it.
I'm just trying to figure out where my ticket is. Maybe I don't know. It got lost in translation somewhere.
You're supposed to go back to somewhere you ain't been.
Right. Now let's talk about that.
Like, I ain't been to Africa. I
wouldn't know where to go yet. Right?
Only place I know Africa is the map.
But this is the thing. So you hear them say that. You hear certain people say that, but they can tell you where their ancestors came from
Right.
and what year they came here.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And so I get tired of the constant microaggressions being kind of taken into or being perpetrated or given to our kids on campus. I had a student in here last week. She said that they were reading a book of mice and mice
Oh,
and men
love that
or
book.
whatever it was.
Good book.
And the teacher decided to replace the word nigger with black man. And so as they're reading this book, he would just come to the N word and say, black man, black man, black man. And she got offended by that, right? She's like, is that what you think black
Right.
men are? And then another story that she brought in here, one of her classmates, the teacher asked, what did white men eliminate? And she blurts out black people,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so she's sitting there with the only other black girl in class, right? She's
Mhm.
sitting there and they look at each other. The white student went to the office and complained on the two black girls who were looking at each other. And they called them in and browbeat them into signing some document that I'm still waiting for. Because the girl came in and said that they were being mean to them. And the solution from the doggone administration was, well, you know what? You should befriend her. That way the school won't think that she's racist. And so, as we're talking about things that happened in 1970, let's talk about things that are currently happening today, or last week, or last month, last year. And you will see this cycle that continues to happen. In advocacy, we see it way too often.
Yes, we do.
We see it way too often where our students are being subjected to people who don't give a damn,
Right.
who don't hold their history in regard, who don't believe that they should be treated as human beings. And when they say something or not say anything, because the young lady told me, I don't say anything because I don't want to be seen as a complainer.
Mm.
So she's carrying all this around. And one thing, when you suppress your emotions, right, they come out in other ways.
Yep.
And so, in order for us to kind of put this out there, I want y'all to be the voice of these young people. Tell me something else you learned about. Anaya, you got a whole list.
Something I learned about. Well,
and hold on before you go, because I
Okay.
see this comment by Mercy. You right, 100%, and I want to make sure that I acknowledge this complaint. I'm sorry, this comment. We absolutely need a bill put in place to protect Black people,
Thank
just
you.
like the Asian hate got a bill.
Mhm.
right, so fast,
So fast.
so
It was
quickly.
crazy.
And we've been dealing with the same stuff over and over again with no movement. And so I agree, sis. I agree. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What you got?
I'll talk about the Harlem Renaissance.
Talk about it.
Basically, Black arts coming to light, and I love learning about it. And it's just really interesting how many white artists stole Black music and how they're still praised today as
Elvis.
oh yeah, like Elvis. Oh, had a
Love-
whole movie.
Didn't watch the movie.
Had a whole movie. Oh, you're so talented. We love Elvis.
Yep.
No, we don't.
We love Big
I
Mama
wanna-
Thornton.
I
That's
wanna-
where he stole it from.
I wanna
and
add
Chuck
on that.
Berry.
I want to add
Yeah,
on that because
Chuck
Chuck Berry for
last semester I took a Black creative arts class and we learned about a lot of the different we learned about a lot of those different art, and then they used it as their form of protest. So they would create art that would show what they were actually going through,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
they protested through art. So that was it was so cool, and just to see like some of the different things, like they built they painted this wall in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago. They had a whole art center in Chicago, and they brought all of like the prolific Black artists, and they all created this one mural on this wall. They all worked together. It was crazy.
You're gonna have to
Oh,
bring us a
that's
picture so we
nice.
can see it.
We'll do.
But I think that, in order for us to really put things into context, you brought up Elvis Presley. There were multiple artists who did that. And it's so interesting because they would take Black music and not put the people on the cover so that nobody would know who actually did the music.
Yeah.
Like that movie, The Five Heartbeats, how they wanted to put their music out there, and they were like, "We got a better band for you."
The
And-
five
Oh.
horsemen.
The 5 horsemen.
Yeah,
I was
no, I
like,
know what you're talking about.
who are these?
Mhm.
Like they were like, no, and they walk right out. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did that. I want to say, what is that? The Cadillac car got me a Cadillac. What movie was that? Dreamgirls. Was that Dreamgirls? Was
Yeah,
it?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
They stole the music, and then they had a white artist performing it, and they turned it into this like beachy.
Yeah.
Got me a Cadillac with the top down. Just some weirdo stuff, and it didn't even hit the same
Weird.
way.
Mm-mm.
It just didn't hit.
It didn't.
Melissa, what else you been looking at? What else?
I found a person. His name is Dion Diamond, and when I was researching, I was finding a lot of, I guess what you call like unsung heroes, which I thought was really interesting. And so, from age 15, he started advocating for racial equality. He grew up in the segregated South and would purposefully, again, occupy white spaces to make people uncomfortable. And which is pretty on brand for today's topic. He purposefully went into spaces like restaurants, and he demanded to be served. And something I found interesting was he gave speeches, just impromptu speeches, waiting for the police to be called, because he knew that would happen, because it happened multiple times, time and time again. But he still continued to do it for the principle of it. He later went to Howard University, and most recently he attended a protest in 2019, and he still, to this day, is publicly speaking, no matter the backlash and negative talk, everything, he's still protesting today, publicly speaking, and is still encouraging people to speak up and make other people uncomfortable.
What a guy.
That just
I
shows
love
you
guy.
What a
how
guy.
long,
What a
how,
guy.
how not how.
How old is he? What you
no,
trying to say?
sorry. That just shows you how long ago stuff happened. Like how.
Well, I keep telling y'all, they only turn
Yeah.
the pictures black and white to confuse
Yeah.
people. That wasn't that long ago.
And I'm
Like,
like,
we talking about before 1970. I was born in 78. Okay.
yeah.
Like, it wasn't that long ago.
No.
He was too. 79.
Uh-oh.
But I'm just saying, like, it wasn't that long ago. But because you see these images and they
Mhm.
put them out on purpose in black and white, you think that it was a lifetime ago. It really wasn't.
And they be trying to put it out in like bad quality. Like, you know,
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
quality.
Or,
Yeah.
or, or only get the ones where they're smiling like everything is great.
Right.
This
Yeah.
time is amazing.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
okay.
Sam, you got another one for us?
Yes, Garrett Morgan, inventor of the stoplight and the gas mask. You know it. The stoplight used every day by millions of people, basically every American that has a car, and that's most Americans. So, the most influential traffic safety device ever created was created by a black man. Talk about it.
Mm.
His descendants should be getting paid.
They absolutely should be getting
Yeah.
paid.
I like
Have
that.
you guys heard of Henrietta Lacks?
Nope.
No?
I'm gonna just
No.
say no.
They
Yeah.
stole her genes to create a
What?
cure.
I'm sorry.
Her medical
Whoa.
genes. Yeah, her gene.
Yeah.
Herself. her
Come on,
daughter?
Melissa. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure they stole her cells to, I don't know all the details, but I have heard of her before. They stole her cells, and then her family went to advocate for, like, to claim the rights to the cures and everything that happened because of her. And they stole her cells without her consent, without her knowledge. And then after she died, her family, I don't know if they have anything now, but they got nothing.
It's evil.
What were they? Wait,
God.
what was the cure for?
Let's see. It's called her cells are called the HeLa cells. So Henrietta Lacks. And I want to say where is it? Y'all keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking. Let me
Well,
find it.
let's-
Go ahead. What you got,
let's
Jalen?
you know, Jackie Robinson,
Okay,
Okay.
my
period.
dog,
Period.
man,
Your dog?
my dog. Cause like, I like watching that movie 42. Cause I just watched the movie again.
Mhm.
Like the stuff that he had to go through and put up with.
Man, I don't know
Mhm.
if I could do
Like
that.
you literally you're up to bat. You have thousands and thousands of people, and you have the umpire, you have the pitchers, you have the
Yeah.
Everyone's
opposing
against
coach
you.
just berating you, and you're still supposed to perform at the highest level, knowing that you are the first and only black person in the Major League Baseball at the time. It's
Mhm.
crazy, and just like how he didn't break down, and he
Right.
eventually went on to win MVP, win a championship, like it's crazy, and then led. Now you got black people. It's still probably the least. You probably got the least that in NHL as the
Mhm.
least black people in the sport, but still open the gates for everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So let me tell y'all about Henrietta Lacks since I pulled it up. It says a sample of her cells was retrieved during a biopsy and sent to Dr. George Gray's tissue lab. For years, Dr. Gray, a prominent cancer and virus researcher, had been collecting cells from all patients, regardless of their race or socioeconomic status. And I believe this may be whitewashed. I'm just telling you right now. He came to the Johns Hopkins Hospital, but each sample quickly died in Dr. Gray's lab. What Dr. Gray would soon discover was that Mrs. Lack's cells were unlike any other cells he had ever seen. Where other cells would die, Mrs. Lack's cells doubled every 20 to 24 hours. Today, these incredible cells, named HeLa cells, from the first two letters of her first and last names, are used to study the effects of toxins, drugs, hormones, and viruses on the growth of cancer cells without experimenting on humans. They have been used to test the effects of radiation and poisons, to study the human genome, to learn more about how viruses work, and played a crucial role in the development of the polio and COVID vaccines.
That's so illegal.
Wait, but my thing, this is what's crazy.
like-
Although she passed in 1951, at the age of 31, her cells continue to impact the world.
That's what I was finna say. Like,
Right.
how your cells what?
How your cells are
Yo,
looking at you?
That's W cells right there.
Oh my gosh.
They shouldn't have them.
They
shouldn't.
That's what I'm saying.
but-
And her
that's so
family has
illegal.
never received any compensation, although they harvested the cells and continue to have those cells reproduce. The family has never received any compensation.
same-
And
the
that is a
same
problem.
way-
I'm looking
why-
at it from a science perspective. That's crazy though.
The same way white people live off of generational wealth should be the same way black people should, especially for all the things that we've done, either voluntarily or involuntarily. Like,
Yep.
their descendants should be getting paid. Period.
Yep. 100%. Melissa, who
I gotta-
Jada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
One of y'all.
I don't know. I mean, I know it. I've known it for a while, but I don't know if I've ever been taught it in history. I think I've had to learn through like BSU or places like BYLP. But the death of Emmett Till, that one always
yeah.
hits really,
Oh.
really hard for me. He was 14-year-old boy, got accused of assaulting a white woman.
Nope.
What?
Not assaulting. I think he either
no,
whistled
looked at
whistled-
her.
Whistled at her.
Whistling,
Okay.
yeah.
It was just whistling.
Okay.
Just
Got
whistling.
accused of whistling at her. I think he was just trying to help her. Was
I
it
don't
a-
even know if he said anything
it
to
a-
her for real.
Yeah, she came out and said
I
he didn't say
doubt
nothing.
they made an interaction, to be so honest.
Yeah,
I
she
doubt
came
it.
out and said he didn't say anything.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
before or
yeah.
after he died.
Girl,
After.
like last year.
After.
Yeah.
Why have I not? I
Yeah.
don't know anything about that.
No,
Okay.
There's
That's
actually a
interesting.
federal lawsuit that the family just filed
Mhm.
for her arrest because
Yeah.
she's still alive.
And GoFundMe.
And they know that there was a warrant for her arrest that they never processed back in the day.
Mhm.
They never processed it, and she's still
Right.
alive, and
She's still
they
kicking
want
it.
her arrested.
Yep, they just
Yeah.
they just redid it like
But
a
yeah.
couple weeks ago.
Oh, sorry. Were you
No,
done
no,
with
no.
your
But
story?
yeah, he just died in 1955. It was just an event that happened before
Yeah.
1970, and
Yeah.
you know, it's one that affects me because he was just a boy. Like
Yep.
he wasn't a grown man. It would have hurt even if it was a grown man. But the fact that grown men can come and beat up a little boy and just
No, not beat up, mutilate him.
mutilate, because
Threw
those
him in the
images were
river.
so graphic, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And her
Oh.
and his mom said that she wanted America to see what these people had done to her.
And
So
he
she
baby.
had an
Yeah.
open
So
casket.
she had an
I think
open
that's true
casket.
strength right there.
That is
Mhm.
true strength. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah,
That's true strength right there.
it's crazy.
Yeah, and so she needs to be arrested. I agree with all those
Mhm.
activists and advocates out there who showed up at nursing homes and all that. But I believe she's
Mhm.
living with her son somewhere.
Yeah,
She's lived her full life,
right.
and she took that child's life, and she will be held accountable some
Her
some
full
way.
life. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
her
that's
full
so
life.
disgusting.
She like
I'm sorry.
90 or something.
I don't know how old she is, but
She's
she
still-
was. This
She's
is
too old to be behind bars.
No, she ain't never too old to be behind
Never.
bars. There's people in there that was subject to life, and they found out to be innocent, didn't do hardly any of these
Yeah.
things. They sentenced people to death for just
Far less.
for just accusations, right?
Yeah.
Just like the Tulsa race riots, right?
Yep.
They said that boy tried to rape her or something in the elevator.
Mhm.
That set off the incidents that occurred after that, right? Where they just needed a reason to decimate this Black community.
Mhm.
Because
It don't have to even be a good reason, a legit reason, a true reason. They needed a reason to decimate this Black community, just like they've done all over. Give me that slide of Black massacres, Tevin. I want y'all to see this. Yeah. All of these massacres that have happened all throughout. And I see the last one. Did I say 2015?
Yeah, the Charleston one.
2015, 1873, 1921, 1908. Community after community after community decimated because people don't want anyone to. I'm sorry, let me back up because I want to be very, very specific. There is a segment of white people who don't want to see Black people doing better than them. And anytime they think that you have more than what they have, this was the result.
Mhm.
And we got to keep it a buck. I wouldn't want y'all to learn about this stuff neither if I was them.
But you got to.
I wouldn't.
Being
But it is
educated
what it is.
important.
And we had to deal with it. They're going to have to deal with it. They're going to have to deal with it. And I agree, Tawana, if they can arrest Bill Cosby and he can do time, so can she. She is
For
not
real.
exempt. And I don't care about her tears. I don't care about her weaponizing her tears. You have to be held accountable when you do something wrong.
Decimating community after community sounds like terrorism.
It
This
was
is
it was
blatant
state
terrorism.
sanctioned terrorism,
Yeah.
domestic terrorism that was allowed by the
Mhm.
federal government. That is why reparations are so crucial,
So
And then there
because
was-
you have to restore and make people whole. You cannot continue to do people this way and not pay a consequence.
didn't
Mhm.
what was that church that they bombed in? Was that Alabama?
The four little girls?
Yeah.
I think it was Montgomery.
Yeah, I think so.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Like
Um,
I remember learning about that. That was
I wrote it
Yeah.
down.
But just get over it though. Nothing to see here.
blowing up a church.
Nothing
though?
to
yeah.
see here.
Yeah.
1963.
Blowing up a
1963.
church,
Bomb
like
church?
Yeah.
It was Birmingham.
Yeah,
Yeah, Birmingham.
What else?
Montgomery,
Montgomery. Okay, that was a Montgomery
Yeah.
bus boycott.
Rosa Parks. Sorry.
Claude. What is it?
Claudette
Covin.
Clover.
Covin.
I don't know.
Claudette Colvin.
All I
And
know is
Claudette
she's
Colvin
We're
was the
struggling.
first one.
Mhm.
That was the first one who would not give up her seat. She was a young lady, and the NAACP did not want to use her because she was pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
So
What
they
gotta do with
used
anything?
That
Oh,
haters.
because
That-
pregnant
that
people have to sit
image.
down or something.
no,
No, 'cause she
pregnant
was
because
young.
that was what I would think is they were embarrassed and didn't
Yeah.
want to use her story, so they found a
Alright.
more acceptable story that they could use.
Mhm.
What's
That's kinda
wrong with
weak.
being pregnant?
Well,
It's
as a
'cause-
teenager,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
how about is that? Like, what's wrong with
as
kinda-
a teenager, that's frowned
that? Doesn't make her
upon.
protest any. That's
Well, no,
That's
because
kinda
she
weak,
wouldn't
though.
have been taken as serious. Like, if we really think about it, you're not going to be taken as serious.
Oh, she would just been
If you're
thought of like a
young-
stubborn teenager or something.
Or a little hoochie.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you're young and
Yeah.
pregnant,
Or,
people aren't gonna take
one
you
of the
serious.
hookers on a Saturday night, like they told the children up in
Mhm.
Tuscaloosa. I
I
mean, because they adultify
yep,
Black
Yeah.
children,
all the
right?
time. We had an episode about it.
They adultify you. They think that you are older than you actually are. They sexualize you. They think you know more about sex. And so this probably in their mind, they were probably thinking, well,
Yeah.
maybe they would assume all these
She was
things
15.
and she's making it like, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So that wasn't an acceptable version of the story.
And Miss
Um,
Mercy actually corrected us. She was 15, not 16.
Okay. 15.
Thank you.
15. Thank you. Because
I'll
we don't know
remember that.
everything, but we know a
Yeah,
little
thank
something,
you.
something.
See how we're
Bless
not.
you.
You see how we're not afraid to be educated? Like what?
No, for
Oh my gosh.
And then, I think of Ruby Bridges, right? Because,
Ruby Bridges
some of
was
y'all
hard.
schools, they done managed to turn it into something else. Walk to school day for everybody. And I remember being at the board meeting and I said, I just got a question for y'all. Will the National Guard be on hand to protect our children from you? I said this I don't know, in January.
Ooh, what'd they
Or-
say?
They just looked at me.
Like, oh,
But-
good question.
But it's like, don't and the other thing that irritated me about that, they had Black students leading the walking
Mm-hmm.
without really giving them the context of what actually happened. She
Mhm.
wasn't walking to school and she wasn't skipping down the damn street. She was a little girl who had to be walked to school by the National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
None of the kids would stay in the classroom with her once she got inside the building.
Mhm.
She was so scared to eat at the school,
was.
she brought her lunch,
She did.
right? Because she had grown women and men outside cussing and carrying on as she's walking, cussing, carrying, threatening to kill her and her family.
Put poison in her food. That's why she didn't
Yeah,
eat.
she wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
And so when they've turned it into this circus, this thing that anybody can come and do because we're all gonna walk to school, yay! That's not what it was.
Right.
And I need us to know the truth in order to tell those coming behind us, because they'll continue to have this stupid event every year without any context as to what was happening. And I think it's absolutely asinine for school districts to prop this up as if they were welcoming of Black children in that time. I need them to knock it off.
Right.
Because when you don't know your history, you're what?
Bound to repeat it.
You're bound to repeat it. And we got to keep it a buck. Stop using our historical figures to pat yourself on the back to act like you're doing something when your discipline numbers tell me everything I need to know about you.
Period.
You're number one in the state for disproportionate discipline of Black children. You were recently labeled significantly disproportionate in the way you identify Black boys as emotionally disturbed, and had a nerve to have this man come on the phone with me and tell me Black students are labeled emotionally disturbed due to academics. What kind of fool I look like?
It doesn't even make sense.
Sam, talk to me.
So am I emotionally disturbed? Straight A student. Am I emotionally disturbed? Stop it. Stop it. Foolishness. And then another thing that happened before 1970. 1961.
Come on, Sam.
Bus riding through Birmingham, your backyard. Right there. It's right there. It's really not that hard. It's literally right there. It's like 50 miles. Less. Like 20. Anyways. KKK shows up, stops the bus, burns it, kills some people, destroys the bus, stops the movement. Like, if you see pictures of the bus, it's horrific. Like, it's all burnt up. It's basically half destroyed. It's basically what a bus would look in a dump.
Oh.
That's what they did to that bus. In Birmingham, your backyard. But you don't want to say anything about it because, it makes somebody uncomfortable. I don't care.
Period.
We do not care.
If it makes them uncomfortable, be uncomfortable. Stop it.
Stop it.
Because I was gonna say,
Melissa, Black kids are identified as emotionally disturbed due to academics, not academically disturbed, but emotionally disturbed
because of their academics. Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
What academics? Like, is it the history that you're not teaching? Is it the math? Is it what is it? 2, who's teaching those academics? The white teachers. Am I emotionally disturbed because you're a white teacher and you're attacking me every single time I come to your classroom? Is that what you're talking about? I'm getting some clarification on the term emotionally disturbed because of academics. There's some there's
a whole fool. He was a whole fool, and he's the lead psychologist of the district. And you're going to sit on the phone and say they're labeled emotionally disturbed due to academics.
I would like
I want his certificate.
I would like his psychology, whatever certificate, degree. I want it revoked because you didn't pass that class. Whatever class you took, you didn't pass it. Because what are you talking about? Okay. Where are the numbers? What are you talking?
And he thinks that he knows more than me because he's brown. And this is my problem. Some people, and what I told them on that meeting, because I was really ticked off, I said, the person who is not from the group cannot be the loudest in the room. And this is the same thing with the history they try to put into place, the history they try to limit. We have to tell the truth. The truth of the matter is they've been pushing Black children out of school based on behavior because they're hyper focused on, if we want to keep it real. They're not there because of academics. Y'all, I'm so tired of stupid people.
Yes,
I'm so tired of stupid people.
Pretty dumb.
Me too.
It's pretty dumb.
Pretty.
I want to ask, are you going to talk about Rodney King and Tyree Nichols if you're not going to bring up stuff before 1970?
Right.
Are we
Right.
gonna
That was
talk about
definitely after.
it?
Right.
Talk about it.
You say we don't want to bring up slavery and civil rights. Are we going to bring up police brutality? So what are we talking about? So
Or mass incarceration.
whatever one you want to flip, you're still going to have some black atrocities committed. So are you just gonna not teach Black history? Because that's
Right.
really what they're trying to do. Just
That's
not
what-
teach Black history.
Talk to me, Jada. What?
We're not gonna talk about that stuff, but after 1970, no, they are.
Talk to him.
Talk to him. No, Sam just makes so many good points because it's like they want to talk about stuff that happened after 1970 as if anything else got better. And
Right.
it's just a product of what's happening when you don't teach your history. So you're going to continue to not teach the history so these stuff can continue to happen. So you can continue to not teach about it. And it's just this pattern that keeps happening. And I just want somebody to just be like, this doesn't make sense. Let's fix it. Like, when is somebody going to wake up? Like, it's mind boggling and it's frustrating because
They gonna wake up when we wake them up.
Like,
man.
They gonna wake up
And
when
I
we
don't
wake
even
'em
think
up.
they're asleep. I think they're already awake. They're just in denial. They want to turn a blind eye to it.
No, they're uncomfortable.
Yeah. And they feel guilty.
They're not in this denial. I don't even know if they feel guilty. Some of them believe that they're in the right.
Oh,
If
no,
they
yeah,
actually
you're
felt
right.
guilty,
Yeah.
they would try and teach the right history to make rights for their wrongs and trying to actually fix what's happening, like passing that bill the same way they passed it for the Asian Americans within this community. But instead of that, they were like, oh, we're not going to do that. But actually, I'm going to do one better. We're going to make Juneteenth. We're going to make it a month. Or we're going to make
so
it a national
symbolism.
holiday.
Period.
Yes, we
Oh,
did
yeah.
that. Why aren't you guys happy? What's going on? We gave you what you wanted. That's not what we wanted. That's what you wanted.
got a day. You got a
Well,
You got a
holiday.
day.
That was to get y'all to be quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're not. So now what?
Facts.
But like, this is like, you can't even, if you're not even gonna bring up nothing for 1970, you're not even gonna bring up how we were brought here not on our will. Like, you're not gonna bring up
Right.
the
Oh
transatlantic
no, because
slave trade.
you know when
none of
you
that
go
type of
to these
stuff.
school board meetings, they say we are in a land of immigrants. I'm like, who?
No,
'Cause you-
immigrants come here willingly.
Yeah.
And
Am I wrong?
And I had to get on the microphone and correct the Japanese lady who said we were a nation of immigrants.
Who's
I said,
we?
Where? Who?
I'm sorry.
Who's we?
Do I have
I'm not.
Girl.
U.S. citizen?
And so
Oh.
y'all got to start going to some of these board meetings. They're very entertaining.
Oh,
I think I would laugh, and I think I would probably have to wear my mask like Jalen be doing, because I would
was-
probably just.
Yeah.
I went to one and I was
Come on.
very I was invited on behalf of BSU. Whatever.
I know we saw it.
Yeah, I forgot what his name was. One of them was like, "Yeah, black kids are the kids at the bottom of the barrel." I was like,
He's right.
"Oh,
He's
it
right.
still
you
rubbed
know
me
this?
the wrong way." I was like, "So what are you doing?"
Are you talking about the person on the dais?
Yes.
You talking about the one with the crazy hair? The Mexican one?
No,
No, who was it?
It was the I forgot his name,
No, just tell me what he looks
but
like.
he was the Asian guy. I don't know his name, but
Oh, I know
when he
what
said
you're
that to me, I was
talking
like, "You're telling me this for what
that's
reason?"
Mr. Yang.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I came here for BSU. I understand we're not, top, but why are you saying that? That made
Because
me
that's what I
uncomfortable.
told him.
Oh,
I
okay.
told him black kids are at the bottom of everything statistically in their district except discipline, where they're the highest.
So you know
That's
this.
what
What
I
are you
told
gonna
him.
do about it?
Exactly. He said that, and then that
Thank
was
you for
like,
being aware. What's the solution?
That's why I was uncomfortable.
Well,
I said, "You're gonna tell me about myself, and then you're not gonna help." Okay.
Because he don't have no solutions. He's new.
Oh,
He's
and then
new.
they're asking me what help they could provide me. What do you
Yeah.
think?
But you said, no, we good. I'm like, Anaya, you sit on the whole damn podcast.
I said I'll reach out. There's just a
Anaya.
lot going on.
Anaya.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, eh?
Look, here, I got the list, and I can get it.
But again, folks get elected to this position and then they want to play the safe route. I am one who believes that you cannot actually change things in this system from the inside. I believe that because all these people talk about what they're going to do, and then they have a superintendent like Elk Grove has who does nothing, and he's allowed to do nothing, and they pay him to do nothing. They pay him to continually put up roadblocks so that black students do not get what they need to be successful. There has not been an equity plan put forth in the last 3 years, but they did hire a black man that came over from a different school district who is very not friendly.
Oh yeah, CJ.
Yeah, you don't have to say his name. It don't even matter. It don't even matter. He don't matter. The point is, you hire people for optics. I want some work to be done. Period. I don't care if they got the Blue Man Group from Vegas to come in. I need some work to be done, period, on behalf of these children, because they get ADA money for Black kids just like they get money for all these other kids. And if other communities were dealing with the things that Black people have been dealing with, you would see them at the board meetings. But guess who's not there? Guess who's not there? Advocating for students to be given equitable access to different programs and different funding sources. Guess what communities are not at the table? Okay. So don't tell me everybody's having the same problem. I don't buy it. And it's time for people to get uncomfortable. It's time for them to get uncomfortable.
And
It's ridiculous. Go ahead, Sam.
Here's an example of what schools do. They say, a Black kid's acting out. His grandma just died. He's kind of aggravated today. She died yesterday. Let's say that yesterday.
Yep.
He's just not cooperating. Hey, let's not send him to the guidance counselor. Suspend him for 5 days. Out of school suspension. Get out of here. Get out. Get out. Please. You're disrupting class.
Yeah, I agree, Sam. I absolutely agree, because when you travel around and you sit in student groups like we do here, that's what they're saying. Nobody's checking on them. Nobody's asking them how they can help them. Nobody's listening to them. They said that they have access to counselors, but it's academic counselors. It's not social emotional counselors.
Yep.
And so students are feeling this disconnect, right? For years, they've been talking about belongingness on campuses and feeling welcome and having their needs assessed. But it seems like everybody else gets what they need except for Black children.
Yep. Or a lot quicker.
And I'm trying to figure out why. Why do y'all think that is? Melissa, what do you think? Why?
I think the students that look like us are not getting what we need, or other students that don't look like us are getting what they need quicker, is because they have the teachers and the admin that look like them on campus that are able to advocate for them to get what they need. I've had the same thing happen with my BSU recently, or we have been planning Black History Month since December. And we had our entire calendar published, the events that people could come to, things like that. So there are other clubs on campus that plan around our events, because we have this and we got it approved. Another club came and got their event approved right on top of ours, and tried to act like it was okay. And it wasn't okay, because they had someone who advocated for them, even though ours had been concrete since forever. So I've seen it happen firsthand, because you have other teachers, other admin who are going to advocate for a different group, for a different student body.
So you said that they got theirs approved before y'all did, and y'all been planning yours since December?
They got theirs approved after ours.
Oh.
And it was still put up, not put on, because we fought back and we were like, no, you actually can't do that, because we've been having this plan. Calendar has been published since the 1st of February. You can't do this. And we pushed back. But theirs got approved last minute, a week, because they were trying to do a Valentine's Day Spirit Day, but it's Black History Month. It's Black History Month, so we planned stuff for the entirety of Black History Month. And they got it approved literally a few days ago, and we had to have a whole sit-down discussion, because we've had this planned. And we got it approved through the principal, and you're still going to come and try to get it approved and still put on whatever you have? I don't think so.
So what can we do? What type of solutions can we put? What do we tell people who are uncomfortable about Black History Month?
Well, get over it.
Honestly, I don't.
In the wise words of my old conditioning coach, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Okay, that's it. All right, Melissa.
I agree. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Think about those 200 students the 55% of those Black students, the 55% of students on that campus that are Black that were uncomfortable and have to live uncomfortably every single day of their life because they're Black. You want to be uncomfortable 28 days and 28 days of the entire year? Be uncomfortable. And I encourage you to be uncomfortable 365 days of the year because you should be.
Jada.
I agree with everybody. I think that not everything that's uncomfortable is a bad thing. Yeah. And I think that this is one of those things that's extremely beneficial. And I think that you should push aside your discomfort and take this as a learning opportunity. If you're truly an educator, I feel like just because you're an educator does not mean you can't be educated. And in order for you to be a better educator, you kind of need to be educated on a few things. So if you're going to make a week or a month that celebrates Black history, let's talk about it. Let's not push it aside because it makes you uncomfortable, but let's talk about these things, because all this filtering, it's unnecessary and it's disrespectful to my history as a Black person. So let's get it together.
Anaya.
I agree. I don't know what else I could add on.
Okay.
I just, like you said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Black people are uncomfortable every single day. I don't care if you feel uncomfortable. I really do not.
And we're just simply, and you're uncomfortable when we're simply just talking to you about it. We have to see that on the news. We have to hear that when we scroll through our phones. That might be happening with a Black person's family member. Like some people, Black people are real life living it. And all we want you to do is hear about it. And you don't want to do that.
That's bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Get it together.
Sammy. Or I'm sorry, Sam. Big boy Sam.
Just deal with it. Honestly, bro. Like I don't care about your feelings. I'm gonna talk about me. I'm gonna talk about my truth, my people, the history. It's not even divisive. It's not any of that. If you want, if you're uncomfortable, leave. Go, leave. Go take a break for a month. I don't care. If you're uncomfortable, be uncomfortable. I don't care.
He said take a break for a month.
It's my time.
Take a break for a month.
I feel you.
Without being paid.
Without
being
paid.
Yeah. Just quit. Just
Y'all
leave.
petty.
Just want to
Y'all
clear that
big
up.
petty.
Yeah, why you gonna get paid to not teach?
We're big petty, but it's petty for one person to stop 200 students from talking about their history. Okay, whatever. Okay.
What you saying, Melissa?
Was that a student-led Black History Month lesson that I think I saw that was student-led, or was that?
It was
I'm
student led.
sure.
Yeah.
So they're stopping the students from literally talking about themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't want you to talk about that. Talk about this instead. Oh, okay, but maybe not that. Oh, okay. Well, maybe not. Where does the filtering stop?
It's not even like it was the teacher that was uncomfortable with teaching it. You have no part in this whatsoever.
So not involved.
You gave me an instruction. I'm going with it. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think that it's going to take more of that energy to let people know we're not asking for permission. This is our month. Go have a seat, right? And I think that the adults need to do a better job putting themselves out there to take the hits and let the kids do what the kids are doing. Before we get out of here, though, I need to say a couple of things. So, Melissa, you are performing this weekend at the Pan African.
all right.
Okay. All right, Tevin.
Yeah.
The Pan African Film Festival this weekend, correct? I saw old school and new school. Yeah.
Ooh,
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Melissa, y'all send good energy to Melissa. I know we're sending a couple people down there to make sure they're in the building. So I'm so excited for that. I know here locally we had an incident where, and this is not a good story, but we had an incident where someone that y'all know, maybe somebody that went to your school.
Yeah. Yeah. A friend of mine. I don't know. Can I put her name out there?
You don't have to.
A friend of mine that used to go to my old high school and her current high school. She had passed away in a car crash recently, and I kind of just wanted to put it out there to just send prayers for her family, send love. I know I took it a little hard. Still processing the emotions. You can't get over grief in one day. I'd be jealous if you did. But no, just putting love out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
And so over the weekend, there was an incident with a drunk driver. There were 5 people in the car with the man, and he ran into a tree, ejecting everyone from the vehicle. All of them perished, and one of them was a young lady from a high school out here. So that we know about, but there were several younger kids in the car. I want to say somebody was 19, somebody was 18.
19, 16.
16, and then the other young lady was 17. So we just want to send love out to the families of those who passed away. And you know, life is but a vapor, right? And so we want to make sure that we acknowledge things that's happening around us, but that we are also focused on making better decisions about who we're getting in the car with. If you all are with people who are drinking and driving, please stay out of the car. Your lives are so important. And we expect that from you. So with that, we're gonna hit y'all with the wave. We're gonna get out of here. We will see you next week right here, 4:30, Facebook and YouTube. We are Black versus the Board of Education, and Sam's gonna lead us off today, followed by Melissa.
Period. My shoulder's
Come on,
ready.
Sam.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Sam,
Yep.
go first.
Melissa, where you at?
Okay.
Jada.
All right. Hey.
Peace. Whole mood, baby.